when I'm preaching, every message should be intentionally Christ saturated. Sometimes that's very easy to do. You're in the book of Colossians, and Christ is so obviously the theme. Other times you might be in a psalm or an Old Testament narrative, and you can't allegorize and try to insert Christ in illegitimate ways. But I think the New Testament gives us keys from Luke 24 and from Hebrews and the example of the apostles that ultimately Scripture is pointing to Christ. And I think to make an intentional effort in every message to make sure that eventually people aren't just learning good morality, they're not just learning good principles for life, they're seeing their need of the gospel. And if we're making the gospel something that is not only the answer for lost people, but it is perpetually the answer for believers. I mean, you think of the New Testament. The New Testament keeps expounding the gospel, and the New Testament is primarily written to churches. Churches need the gospel explained and applied to them. So I think if you have that sort of philosophy, then it keeps you pointing people to Christ. I think another thing is for people to understand that as a pastor, I am running to Christ with them. I'm not trying to keep up this persona that I have it all together. I'm God's man, touch not God's anointed. I need to be a godly man. I need to be a qualified man. But I am as dependent on Christ as they are, and I'm flawed. And when I fail, I have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous, the propitiation for my sins. And I think if people see that sort of genuineness, not a pulpit voice, not a pastor image, just you're their leader, you're their shepherd, but you're a needy Christian just like them. And if they see you in all of life and even in your sermons acknowledging that you're the chief of sinners who needs Christ, I think it helps them to see their need of Christ as well.